Hello there, welcome back for part 2 of the best of 2022. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top darlings from the new products that I tried in the categories of hair, skincare, nails, and a few miscellaneous items. Also, if you stick around to the end, I'll give you a sneak peek of what is to come in 2023. If you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. Starting off with the hair category, because I know so many of you watch my channel basically for the hair tutorials and hair product information. The first product that I used and fell in love with and still continue to use and will repurchase is the L'Oreal Le Gloss One-Step Toning Gloss Treatment. This is a treatment, it's a conditioning and toning treatment you put on your hair while you're in the shower. You can leave it on for 5 to 15 minutes, depending on if you have color treated hair or natural color hair. This comes in a wide variety of colors, so depending on what color your hair is, you can choose a color accordingly. Now, the first one that I tried was this one in Cool Blonde. And by the way, I do have videos using both of these so you can see the before and after. The second one that I used was this unique shade called Silver Opal. And Silver Opal is a part of their line that's more geared towards those who have gray or white hair. But I decided to give it a try on my highlighted hair, and this one in Silver Opal, it gave my blonde kind of like a little bit of an iridescence, so it almost had kind of a pinkish tone to it. I don't want to say pink because it wasn't pink hair, but it was such a beautiful tone. And then the Cool Blonde shade, you can see I am almost finished with this. And this one has been my go-to. This is kind of your typical deep violet purple tone. And even though those do have a lot of color to them, I don't use gloves when I apply them. And as I mentioned, it's a conditioning treatment. So that is what I think sets it apart from your typical purple shampoo or other toners. It's not hurting your hair, and in fact, it's helping protect your color. Now, because I wash my hair pretty much almost every day, one treatment of this, the tone kind of lasts for about 5 days for me, and then I feel like it's pretty much washed out. The other great thing is if you get it in and you don't like the tone, you can easily wash it out with a clarifying shampoo in 1 or 2 washes. So it's not permanent. Again, it does actually help and nourish your hair, but it provides a wonderful tone. So this is definitely a new staple and a new holy grail product that I will continue to regularly use. All right, next I have a couple of styling products, a couple of new hairsprays that I discovered this year. The first one I discovered, it was the Bedhead Masterpiece Extra Stronghold with Massive Shine Hairspray. These have such long names. What I have found this to be best for me personally is I love to use this as a finishing spray. So I go in with my normal Aussie Instant Freeze hairspray, and then I spray this over it as just a finishing spray, and it does add a nice little bit of shine, but it also holds my style in place. It keeps me from getting flyaways even if I'm out in the wind. It just really helps control frizz or any craziness that can happen if you're out in weather. So I have loved this as a finishing spray. Now, I have heard from some of you that have fine hair and you love using this as your primary hairspray. So it works either way, but for me, I've loved it as that final finishing shine and just that final set. It doesn't make your hair crunchy or stiff, but it just does amazing things for hold. The second hairspray that I discovered, this was pretty recently, and I was so happy to discover it because I like to travel, but Aussie Instant Freeze Hairspray does not come in a travel size. So I always have to check a bag if I want to bring my favorite hairspray. Well, not anymore. I found the Bedhead Hard Head Hairspray. This is the Extreme Hold number 5, and I feel like this works almost identically to the Aussie Instant Freeze Hairspray. Now, this is a higher end hair product, so the travel size is actually more expensive than a full size of Aussie. But like I mentioned, my main purpose of using this is because it comes in this travel size. It does also come in a full size, but it is a really great one. So if you have a hard time finding Aussie Instant Freeze, or you don't like that, but you want something with a really good hold, definitely give this a try. And it actually has a really good scent as well. This next styling product is one that my stylist mentioned to me earlier this year. I had gone through a period where I had lost a lot of hair. It wasn't as bad as some people, but I had an illness about a little over a year ago, and as a result, lost a lot of hair. And so my stylist said this product is one that she recommended to some of her friends and clients who had finer hair. And so she used it on me, and I could immediately feel a fullness and a thicker texture to my hair. And I was like, what is that? And it is the Kenra Nitro Memory Cream. Now the trick with this is it's not really a mousse, it's not really a gel, it's kind of a hybrid between the two. But apparently the packaging is not real stellar. The first bottle I got of this nozzle did not work, and so it came out runny, and it doesn't work if it comes out like that, so just be aware of that. But when this works, you only need a tiny little amount. I love to use this kind of more towards the ends of my hair. I used this in a recent hair tutorial, and it really does add extra bit of hold, fullness, fluff, volume to your hair. So even though I now have my full head of hair back, I still reach for this on those days when I need that extra volume, and I think it works so well. And the last hair product is one that is also a recent find, and it is the Paul Mitchell Extra Body Boost Root Lifter. And this is a really great product. It's not in an aerosol bottle, so if you're trying to avoid that type of a bottle, or you can't get your hands on the Catwalk Root Boost or the big Root Pump Plus that I also love, this is another great option. And it also has some really good ingredients, good for your hair ingredients. So I always like it when I'm using a styling product that is also good for my hair. But I've been really impressed with this. I do feel like it does give the hair a really nice amount of lift and hold. I apply it to my hair wet and then blow dry, and I do feel like it gives me that extra volume and hold that I'm looking for. Next, we're moving into skincare, and I'm going to start off with a couple of body care products that I use and love this year. So first is a couple of new sunless tanners that I fell in love with this year and have become actually probably my top favorites. So the first one I found this summer, and it is the Coco and Eve Sunny Honey. In fact, I just have a tiny little amount here. I resisted buying a new bottle of this. I'm going to wait till next spring. But I have it in the ultra dark, and there are so many great things about this, but the main things I love, it's filled with good ingredients. It does give me a super dark tan, and it dries relatively quickly if you just do one coat. Now you can do a double coat with this and you'll get extra dark, but it does kind of remain sticky on your skin and it's kind of uncomfortable. So I tried not to do that too often, but with one coat, I felt like it dried quickly. It does have a dark guide color, so you are going to see where you're putting it. It's scented like mango, so it doesn't smell awful like your typical sunless tanner smells. But the other thing that really stood out to me about this product is how long it lasted and how evenly it wore off throughout the week. This will give me a full week of pretty good color. Like 7 days later, I still feel like I have some color, but it's faded really nicely. Now, if I do the double coat, that's when I feel like maybe about by the end of the week, I'm kind of looking a little patchy. But if I just do that one coat, it gives me a great tan and it wears off supernaturally, looks beautiful. Absolutely love it and plan to repurchase. Now, the other sunless tanner that I fell in love with was from a brand that I had tried another product and I didn't really love it. But when I was reading kind of that this one had additional skin loving ingredients, it has ceramides and vitamin C, I thought, you know, in the winter time, I like to keep a little bit of color in my skin. If you saw how pale my neck gets if I don't have any sunless tanner on, to match my neck, my face has to be super pale. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have super fair skin, great. But I feel like on me, I can look almost like ghostly, like I'm really sick. So I like to keep a little bit of color through the winter, but I want a fuss-free tan for that. So I thought this one has skincare ingredients. I'll give it a try. And it's the B-Tan, no sun required. It says it's in the darkest shade, which is just 3 out of 5. So I knew it wasn't going to be super dark, I didn't need it to be. This does have a light guide color, but it's not to where you look really strange. It's kind of like a bluish tint, but that sounds really bad. But it doesn't look awful on your skin while you're tanning. But this dries so fast, and I have not found it to transfer onto clothes. So in the wintertime when I'm doing sunless tanning, I'm usually using the Sol by Jergens tanning water because this also dries fast. It doesn't get all over your clothes. And I feel like I can put on a turtleneck or sweater, long sleeve sweater, and go about my day, and I don't notice that I've got sunless tanner on. Well, same thing with this one. Even though it does have that slight guide color, dries fast. And you can actually rinse this one off within an hour. I just leave it on overnight because I don't even feel it there. And it doesn't get on my sheets, it doesn't get on anything, and it leaves a really nice color. Like I have it on right now. This is about 3 days later after I've applied it. So it just gives me a nice little hint of color without being really apparent that I'm using sunless tanner. So the other thing that I've loved about this versus the Jergens, even though this is Jergens, this has gotten really expensive, and this is actually very reasonably priced. So highly recommend checking into if you want just a really nice subtle tan and something that's easy to wear, and there's really no scent whatsoever to this. Now, speaking of scents, 2 new favorite perfumes this year. I mentioned this earlier on in the year that after my illness last year, I had a really hard time finding a new fragrance because I lost my sense of smell. When it came back, I felt like everything was weird and I didn't like my typical perfumes. And I have a real hard time finding one that doesn't give me a headache. This year, I found the Burberry Her, and I learned that there are different versions of the Her. This is the Eau de Parfum. I don't know if that's the correct way to say that, but this one has kind of a slight little bit of some fruity tones, like a brightness, almost a citrusy tone. But I have really enjoyed this. It's not a heavy scent. It's very bright, very light, but I have really enjoyed this. I got a roller ball and then another little mini in the set, and you can see I need to get a full-size bottle. The other perfume that I fell in love with, or body, it's technically a body mist, is the Brazilian Crush number 71. Now, I used to like number 62, and that is still, it's kind of the scent that's in the Boom Boom cream or the Bum Bum cream, whatever you call it. But I feel like in the cream, I still like it, but in the body mist, I don't like it anymore. But the 71, it says it's caramelized vanilla and macadamia, and it's caramelized. So if you don't like that buttery vanilla, buttery nut, like this smells like somebody, like one of those street vendors that's making nuts, you know, on the street corner. It's like that smell. It's so good. So this has been my new favorite, and I just purchased a new bottle because it's almost gone. Now for skincare, I feel like this is another category where I've been trying a lot of new products, and I actually have several that I am currently in the process of testing. A couple of products from Banish, and I'm actually really loving them, but I'm not going to put them in this video because I feel like for skincare, I've got to give them at least a couple of months to really see how much of an improvement I'm seeing on my skin and to make sure that I have 0 reactions. But a couple of products that I have used a ton and fell in love with this year. First off is the Tarte Knockout Tingling Treatment. Now, I feel like my skin goes through times throughout the year where my pores start becoming really clogged or really visible, or I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of extra texture on my face. So I got a sample of this with an order one time, and I tried it out, and I could not believe how smooth my skin felt the very next morning and how even my foundation went on. So I ended up purchasing the full size of this, and I now have a backup because this one's almost gone. I use this about 2 to 3 times a week, more in the summer to early fall. When my skin is more oily, I feel like I have more texture, and this has been a great treatment. Now, I will say there is a tingle. Tingle is in the name for a reason. So I do have sensitive skin, but I can handle the tingle. If you can't handle the tingle, you probably want to skip this. But you just smooth it over your skin in place of your toner and let it completely dry, and then go in with the rest of your skincare. And I use it at night. And again, I just really feel like this does amazing things just even after the first use. The second product that was sent to me, and then I have since repurchased a full size, is the Paulas Choice C5 Super Boost Moisturizer. So I've been using the C15 booster drops that you add to a moisturizer. Well, then she came out with this, I think it was this summer, and I started using this, and several of you started saying, what are you using on your face? And I was using this and then had started using this as well. But I feel like this is probably one of the most gentle vitamin C products, and because it's in the moisturizer, I love it's kind of like all in one. So the way I was using this was in place of my retinol at nighttime. So I would use my serum, then use this as kind of like my final step. So when I used it that way, I felt like my skin was hydrated, moisturized, not greasy, and yet I did feel like it was giving me those vitamin C benefits of brightening the skin. Now, one thing to note that's really important about vitamin C products is how they're packaged, and Paulas Choice really pays attention to that. This comes in it with an airless pump, makes it real easy so you don't have to guess how much you're using, and you're also not letting any air in. It's also a completely opaque bottle so that it's not, no light is getting in to degrade the product. So really a great vitamin C option if you're looking for one to add to your regimen. Now, this next product is actually a tool or a device for the skin, but I wanted to put it in here. And this is actually a tool that I got last year, but I didn't use it very regularly, and I just wasn't sure if it did anything. And so it wasn't until this year that I got serious, and I'm like, okay, I need to start using this on a more regular basis. And I was having those times of severe texture. And what happens, as you all probably know, as we age, if you've got large pores, that sagging skin makes the large pores look larger, right? It just sags open. And so I was going through a time like that with my skin, and I'm like, I've got to try something different. Let's try the Foreo Bear. And again, I've had this since last year, and I started using this on a much more regular basis. I still don't use it 7 days a week. I am going to try and endeavor to do that better now that the holidays and busyness is over. But when I use this, I can feel an immediate difference. And within really 2 uses, I can start seeing like this part of my face just looks more lifted, and those pores don't look like they're sagging as much. So I have been really impressed. Now, this is one of those devices that has an electric current, and it vibrates, and you can Bluetooth connect it. There's an app to your phone so you can do a treatment. That's the way I love to use it. And you do have to use a serum before you go in with this, but I have just really been impressed by this. I know this isn't the most expensive of these types of devices, so I feel like this can be a good place to start. Now let's stay in the category of tools, and I want to share with you a couple of tools that were sent to me from Refer that have become actually my favorites, that I feel like are standouts among the rest of the brushes and tools in my collection. So the first one is their eyelash curler. This is just great, and it comes with 4 more of these rubber pads in here. So this is going to last a long time. It's not terribly expensive, but do you see how far it opens? This makes it so easy to get in there, and it's curved, but it's not overly curved. So I find this really easy to get right up to the roots of my lashes and give them a good curl. I've really been impressed, really like that. And it's actually become now my go-to curler. Now, the brushes that I selected from the ones that they sent to me, I feel like these are ones that are more unique in their shape from what the other brushes in my collection. The first one is the 04, and this is an angled blush brush. At first, I was not real keen on this because for powder, I feel like this is too small. Because unless your blush is not very pigmented, you're gonna get a lot of product and you're really gonna have to work to distribute it. But with cream products, oh my goodness, this is amazing. One of you said, don't be afraid to use these natural bristles on cream products, and you are right. It worked amazingly well. And I haven't cleaned my brushes for a couple weeks before today, and I was worried these nice white bristles would be stained. They are not. The 4 eyeshadow brushes that I pulled out of what they sent to me that I feel like are unique are this number 03, which is a really fine point, bullet point brush. I love this for a soft shadow of liner along the lash line. And then these 2 fluffy brushes, I had been using the number 16, which has more of a point, and really loving that. It really kind of gets the color in the crease and then blends it above real easily. But then I started using the number 15 brush, and you can see this one has more of a rounded tip on it. Love this one too. It really blends the color through the crease well. And then the final brush, number 12. This is a chubbier bullet brush, but I love it for doing this outer corner right here. It's almost like you can stamp on that dark color, and then you can actually blend it out with this brush or go in with one of the other blenders, and it makes applying that darker color so much easier. And because these bristles are natural bristles, I feel like they pick up product a little bit better and hold it in the bristles than sometimes a synthetic brush will do. So overall, those have been my favorites, and I do definitely plan on checking out a few more of their brushes as well. The most genius tool I discovered in 2022 are these makeup glasses from Vichy Eyewear. I've since ordered a second pair because I have found these to be so helpful, in particular for filling in my eyebrows. While my up-close vision is not terrible, my eyebrows became quite difficult to get even, to get a nice straight line on the bottom of the brows, and these have really been a game changer. They've also worked wonderfully well when I want to pull in one of those eyebrow pens, because it's really hard to draw in hair-like strokes if you can't see clearly, and these make it so much easier to do that. Then when you're done with one eye, all you have to do is flip the lens over and start working on the other. One quick tip when you order them in the lens power of your current readers. You do not need to increase the lens power of them like you would in a magnifying mirror. So that's just a quick little tip. Now, while I have been mainly using these for my brows, check out my full review video because I show you how you can accomplish your entire eye makeup look. And I share with you tips like this one of turning the glasses upside down so you can actually even apply your full mascara. You could do lower lash line, liner, etc. But when you're done, you just put them in their nice little soft case, and it makes them super easy to travel with. So overall, highly recommend, and my favorite tool of the year. The last tool is the cheapest, most inexpensive, yet amazing tool that I bought this year. And it's this little velour puff. It's in a triangular shape. This has become the trending shape, I think, for these types of products. This comes in a set of 6, and I believe they're under $10. I have used and washed this particular one multiple times. It's still soft, it doesn't stain. I think this is great for just pressing under the eyes, pressing in powder. I'll usually flip it around when I'm doing the face. Makes it so much quicker, nice and soft. Highly recommend those. And now for nails. I just have a couple of products in this category, and I only have one nail polish that was a standout to me that I purchased this year, and it's this one from Essie. You guys all saw it in multiple videos, and everybody's asking, what's on your nails? What's on your nails? And it is for the twill of it. What I love is it's one of those, I would say almost a trio chrome type of nail polish color. So it has purple, green, kind of can look a little bit blue or silvery depending on how the light hits. It's one that goes on smoothly. It's not streaky. So definitely my favorite of the year. And then the other nail product, most of you have probably seen me wearing these Dashing Diva nail strips. These are the gloss strips throughout the year. I have a video from a couple years ago I have really enjoyed these. They're inexpensive, and overall, I feel like as long as you apply them correctly, they last really well. And in fact, I usually get tired of them before they start looking bad. So that's usually why I take them off or I need to trim my nails. Well, recently, you may have seen, I tested out the Glaze, Dashing Diva Glaze. These are the semi-cured gel nail strips. You do have to have a LED lamp to fully cure them, but I have been super impressed with these. I've used two different ones. I used the pink ones, and then I did these at Christmas. And I mean, I played the piano like crazy, cleaned house. I've done so many things with them, and they did not wear off from the tips of my nails at all. Now, I'll link the video where I show how to apply them, because you do need to take a little more time as you're applying, and they're a slightly different process. But if you do it correctly and allow them to fully cure on your nails, they dry down so hard and set and stay and last for so long. So another great nail product from Dashing Diva that I highly recommend. Now, the final product that I'm going to share with you is kind of in that miscellaneous category, and it is my watch band. I know several of you noticed this one when I first got it last spring, and then I picked up this one, which is more of a kind of tortoise shell look. But I just love these. These are from Amazon. There's one other color that I'm thinking about checking out. It's kind of white with gray, but they have the look of shells, but they're just resin. They do have links, and they come with a couple of tools that make it really easy so you can adjust the size to fit your wrist. But they work well with the Apple Watch, and I have just loved them. They look a little dressier, a little nicer, and this one's probably my favorite of the two just because it's pink, but I just really enjoyed these. They're really comfortable to wear, and just another way to kind of dress up your watch and make it look a little more like an accessory. So with that, that brings us to the end of our favorites and talking about next year. So I just wanted to briefly share what is coming in 2023. So January, I feel like, is that month that we all say, okay, we're starting fresh. We're gonna get back on that eating right bandwagon. We're gonna get back on that exercising wagon. So I have a couple of videos planned for January, including my arm workout routine. I've had that requested so many times, and I did do this video several years ago, but it's changed a little bit. So I am going to film an updated version of that. I'll be sharing that in January. And then I have a couple of other videos planned that will help you, whether you are on a new weight loss plan or you're trying to get started, just a couple of little tips to help encourage you and help you along the way. Also in January, I am going to be trying not to buy new makeup, and instead I'm going to do a lot of videos focused on helping you enjoy the new makeup that you just received at Christmas, including several more 311 videos. I've had requests to do those videos in particular with these palettes, so I will be starting off with these. If there's another palette that you got for Christmas that I have not already done a 311 video with, comment down below with that palette name, and I'll see if I have it, and I'll see if I can get that done. And then the other focus in January, a lot of you have said you're planning to kind of jumpstart a new skincare routine, and you're wondering what mine is. So I'm going to be sharing an updated skincare routine, and also I will probably have several more reviews of some skincare products that I have been using. So if you're looking for new skincare products to incorporate into your regimen, stay tuned, help is on the way. So in closing, I just want to say how grateful I am for each and every one of you for being here, for watching my videos, for supporting my channel. I truly appreciate it, and I hope that you will stick around for what is to come next year. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. Bye.